Yeah, I'm Conni. I'm a member of the negotiating panel on peace talks of the National Democratic Front of the Philippines when we're holding peace talks with the government of the Republic of the Philippines. I'm also a Makibaka representative, and Makibaka is the revolutionary organization in the NDF, in the National Democratic Front. Okay?
Yeah. So can you kind of give us an update on how the peace talks are going and what's that like?
Well, peace talks are like roller coaster now. Sometimes it with the start of the government of Duterte, it was going very well. We had actually 4 rounds of talks which were beginning to produce really good fruits, and then because the New People's Army had made tactical offensives, President Duterte got angry and he felt that they shouldn't be doing that, so he canceled the 5th round of talks. Even if everyone was there were about 50 from the delegation of the NDF and about 73 from the delegation of the government of the Republic of the Philippines, and everyone was there in the hotel sponsored by the Royal Norwegian government. And with all that expense, he canceled it and it just couldn't go through. And people just had to return to their homes. And since then, President Duterte has been very angry with the NDF and saying he doesn't want peace talks. On our part, and this is actually the peace talks, this part of the peace talks is very important because now we're discussing socio-economic reforms. And that's actually, if you address the issue of socio-economic reforms, you're addressing the issue of poverty, of landlessness, of lack of jobs. So these are actually the root causes why there is an armed conflict. So it's very important. And when President Duterte says, no, I don't want to have talks anymore, you're putting that whole thing at a standstill. And actually, one of the achievements of the peace talks during the 3rd round was that both sides, both the government, surprisingly, and the NDF agreed that in the socio-economic reforms, there would be land to the landless for free. That was a very big step. And so now suddenly it's all just a standstill. So we're hoping that things will improve, and we're waiting.
So is there anything you would think you guys could do to kind of keep it going, or is waiting the only thing?
Now we're waiting, but in the meantime, the organization, the group, the people who are in charge of formulating the socio-economic reforms for the NDF, they continue working. And, we're continuing to draft the agreements that we will discuss with the GRP. But it's more on our side. It's not both sides working together. So, yeah.
And also, you did a speech earlier, and just for the people that will play this for that didn't get a chance to listen.
Were you there? Did you hear?
Yeah, I got to sit in. Yeah. Can you just give a general rundown of what?
Well, actually, what I told the stories of 4 women, valiant women, and some gave up their lives. Some especially told the story of one of a Makibaka member who was arrested, who was gang raped, and then made a comfort woman or a sex slave of the commander. And yet she did everything she could. She gathered in information which she eventually passed on to the comrades in the mountains. She went back when she escaped, and she went back to the mountains, and she's still deeply involved now. So I was talking about women, or I also spoke about a Kurdish woman, Sakine, who, when she was arrested, part of the torture was having her breasts cut off by the military. Can you imagine that? And yet, after, when she was eventually released from prison, she continued working, and then about 3 years ago, she was in the Paris office of the Kurdish movement, and people went there, shot and killed her together with 2 other Kurdish women. So I talked about women who are giving up their lives, who are so militant in the struggle. And what I wanted to say was, this is what imperialism does. It tortures, it kills, hoping to break the spirit. And it is the resolve of women and others, men and women, to continue the fight you know, and imperialism is very ferocious, but it is also important to gather as many women and men to join in the fight against imperialism. That was more or less what I talked about.